The morning sun was bright, but John felt a storm brewing when he heard Furious knocking at his door. He opened it to find Karen, the self-appointed queen of the HOA, standing with arms crossed and a sneer plastered across her face. "You don't belong here," she hissed, her voice carrying through the quiet street. John, calm as ever, simply asked her to leave his property. But Karen wasn't satisfied. She pulled out her phone, loudly declaring she was calling 911 to have him evicted. The neighbors peeked from behind curtains, whispering. John said nothing, only his eyes hardened. Unknown to everyone, John wasn't just a homeowner. He carried something Karen could never imagine, a badge of his own, one that held more authority than the HOA or even the local police. Within minutes, the wail of sirens cut through the neighborhood. Karen smirked triumphantly as police cars rolled up. She waved her arms dramatically, shouting, "That man is trespassing on my HOA's land." The officers hesitated, glancing between Karen and John. Calm and respectful, John handed over his deed showing ownership of the home. Karen interrupted, demanding his arrest. The officers were caught in confusion, their radios buzzing. John didn't fight, didn't argue. Instead, he leaned against the porch rail, watching the scene play out like a chess match. Deep down, he knew the moment to reveal his truth hadn't come yet. He waited, letting Karen bury herself in arrogance. Karen wasn't done. She spun lies faster than the officers could write them down. She claimed John had threatened her, refused community fees, and even said he was an illegal squatter. The officers exchanged uneasy glances. John's silence only made Karen louder, her voice echoing off the houses. Neighbors gathered in clusters on the sidewalk, phones recording the spectacle. But what none of them knew was that every word Karen shouted was being logged. Every false claim building a case not against John, but against herself. John's hand brushed against the badge inside his pocket, but he held back. Timing was everything, and the right moment was about to arrive. One officer, unsure, stepped closer to John. "Sir, can you show us identification?" he asked. John nodded, pulling out his license. Karen immediately interrupted. "Don't believe him. He's dangerous. Remove him now." Her shrill voice grated against the calm air. The officer glanced at John, sensing something different about this man. There was authority in his posture, discipline in his voice when he finally spoke. "Officer, I respect your duty, but before you take another step, let me clarify something." Karen rolled her eyes, muttering insults under her breath. John slowly reached into his pocket, ready to change everything with a single reveal. The street went silent as John pulled out his badge. The sunlight reflected off the metal, glinting for all to see. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Karen froze mid-sentence, her eyes wide. The officers straightened, immediately recognizing the seal. "Federal Marshal," one whispered under his breath. John's voice rang with steady authority. "You've been filing false reports, harassing a homeowner, and obstructing officers with lies. That ends now." Karen stuttered, her confidence crumbling. The neighbors, once silent spectators, now erupted in murmurs, recording every second. For the first time, Karen's power slipped through her fingers, replaced by sheer panic. The officers shifted, their loyalty no longer with Karen. "Ma'am, we need you to step aside," one officer said firmly. Karen shook her head, refusing. "You can't do this to me. I run this community," she screamed. But John's presence was unshakable, his words like iron. "No, Karen. The law runs this community, and today, it's holding you accountable." Karen tried to flee, but the officers blocked her path. She turned pale, realizing the cage she had built for John was now her own prison. The badge gleamed again as John gave his final order. "Cuff her." As Karen was handcuffed, the neighborhood erupted with relief. Phones captured the once untouchable HOA queen, now reduced to a trembling figure being led away. John finally spoke to the crowd. "No one is above the law, not even those who think they control it." His voice carried weight, not just as a federal marshal but as a neighbor who had defended his dignity with patience and principle. The officers thanked him quietly before escorting Karen into the squad car. For the first time, the community felt free. As John closed his door behind him, he looked out over the street, knowing that justice wasn't loud. It was steady, unshakable, and undeniable. And today, justice had finally spoken.